again, that doesn't mean I have the gift of healing. It just means I'm listening to the Holy Spirit to apply the healing over that person. Okay, so that's a practical application. Again, if you've never ever heard the Holy Spirit or felt that, that whatever, that unction or that push or that call or whatever, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for you. But don't worry about it. Pray for the gifts of the Spirit. Nothing wrong with it. Be zealous for them. Always ask God or the Holy Spirit or God, or always pray for the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Nothing wrong with that. That is not a sin. You should always be praying for those things. Okay. Next, faith. Faith is a huge one. So how do I apply my faith? I talked about the mustard seed in the last video. And again, start off small, right? Don't start off with all these big, grand things. We go from these big things and we want to fight these big things and we want to get these big giants, but we didn't bother taking down a lion or the bear. We didn't bother planting the little seed and watering it and letting it grow. We didn't bother doing the little things that God has asked us so that we would have the bigger things. Okay? The kingdom of heaven is like, right, a mustard seed. That's what the parable is, or that's what Jesus was saying. The sower, boom, he throws it in the ground, and then it's getting water and it's getting stuff, and then it grows and it grows and it grows into this big old tree. Okay, so you have to start off small. Your roots have got to be planted. Your faith, okay, to move mountains or to do all these things that you want to have happen, your roots got to be planted first. That's first and foremost. You got to have your mind renewed. You gotta know what this book says about you. Okay? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I'm not teaching on faith right now, okay? But it's not, contrary to popular belief, it's not just trusting God. That's a part of it, but that's not all of it, okay? Anyways, so plant, take your faith. Everybody, Romans 12, I think 3, I believe it says, everyone has been given the measure of faith. Some people say a measure, the measure. We got historians and theologians arguing over if it's the word a or the word the. I don't care. It's not that big a deal to me if it's the or a, right? I do believe you got faith because it took faith to get saved. And once you did that and you took that step, guess what? You got faith now, and you just got to start to grow it. That's it. That's all you got to do. You got to grow your faith. Remember, Jesus was like, oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. How long shall I suffer with you? Right? Talking to his disciples. Grow it. Start off small. Start off simple. Start off with little things. Believe for $1. Believe for $2. Believe for $10. Believe for, I don't know, a pair of socks or whatever it is. I don't know. Believe for food, a warm meal. Believe for a headache. Believe for my finger hurts, or I don't know. Start off small. Believe little things and then work your way up to the bigger things. I'm not saying don't fight for the big things. That's great. But what happens is we fight for those big things in faith, and then we get discouraged because if we don't win that battle against Goliath, or if we don't win that battle against Jericho, or whatever the big thing is, we get discouraged and we go away and we're like, well, it wasn't meant to be. I have faith. Yeah, you do have faith. You sure do. But that wasn't your time to tackle that yet. It just wasn't. God will do it. God can do it absolutely through you. But you probably still need to, build your faith up a little bit. Okay? And people say, well, how much is so much? You know the funny thing about a tree, when I was talking about the mustard seed planting in the ground? It never stops growing. Ever. It just doesn't. So something that you could have battled 10 years ago is easy for me today, but something that I got to battle maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now, I could never touch at this point because my faith hasn't grown to that level. Because my faith is always growing. Okay? Because I'm always being tested with it anyways, right? 1 Peter. Anyways, okay, so faith. All right, now, getting rid of unbelief. How do I get rid of unbelief? The only way you're going to get rid of unbelief is this. Renewing your mind to this and believing it. Believe it like a 5-year-old little kid. Truthfully. I'm not even kidding. It's funny that this book was written for, scholars to debate and argue over and this and that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Bible is profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, and righteousness, right? It is a two-edged sword. Iron sharpens iron. All these scriptures that I'm kind of paraphrasingly quoting, okay? The Bible is all that, right? It is alive. This is living and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. Okay, so this is the only thing that's going to cut this in half to go ahead and, well, this is actually first because you got to renew your mind. So you renew your mind and it starts to go to your heart. It starts to go to your heart. Here's the problem. Here's where unbelief has really been dealt with. Obviously, I would say from the church. Sorry, but it's true. Okay, we got a lot of unbelief from the church. We got a lot of unbelief from what we watch and hear. Okay, sorry, but we do. I don't watch a whole lot of stuff. I really don't. I mean, I do watch TV. I watch movies and things like that. But I'm careful about what I watch, only because I don't want it affecting my heart. Meaning, if I watch a show that, like a reality show that claims that it's real, let's say it's a doctor show or something like that, and they're claiming that this, that, and this is real or whatever, and I see things on there that I just know is not real, or they start saying things on there that are contrary to this, peace out. I am not letting that stuff go into my heart. Sorry, I'm not. My faith and my belief is too important, okay? Because I want to see these things happen. No joke. You can judge me whatever you want. I ain't judging nobody. You watch what you want, you do what you want. I'm just saying there's effects to the things that we allow into our body and our mind. Sorry, there just is. I ain't perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, okay? I say I make mistakes. But I'm careful about what I put in front of my eyes and what I put into my ears. Other people would say, no, you're not. I really am. I really am. And the funny thing is like if I can't like avoid it, it's funny. I'll just voice it out loud. I'm like, that is so not true, because I don't want it. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, I do. I really do. I'll whisper it. That is so not true. Anyways, okay, getting rid of unbelief. Right there. All right. Next, practice. Start small. I already talked about this with the mustard seed. So yeah, start small. Boom. Work your way up to the big stuff. Okay. Next, natural remedies. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Just go read on the internet. There's plenty of stuff on Google. Make sure you're reading good stuff. And nobody ever knows these days what you're reading on the internet is true or not. Who knows? But just go read up on things like natural remedies for this, that, or the other. I'll tell you something real simple to boost your immune system. My ex-wife taught me this, okay? And that was, she's from Brazil, and I don't know if she learned, I'm sure she learned it from Brazil, but they got a lot of remedies and weird things down there. Believe me, they do. I knew somebody who also went down there. He's a Mormon. And he went down there, and something happened to him. I don't remember what it was, but he was telling me this story. And he was like, no joke, they burned these tea leaves or whatever these leaves were, some kind of crazy tree down there, and they put it on my body, and instantly I was healed. I was like, really? He's like, oh yes. He's like, I really wanted to go and reproduce these trees and grow them, but they won't grow here. I was like, really? I was like, we should try to figure that out. But anyways, but it was very interesting, and I know nothing more of the story, whatever. Again, it was just a story, but I still find it fascinating. But the point is so, yeah, what I was going to say about this thing to boost your immune, like when I get sick, okay, and yes, I'm confessing, I have been sick. It's not very often, but it happens. I have a little girl, she goes to school, and they get germs. I rebuke it as often as possible, and I fight it as often as possible. I also take vitamin C every day. But I fight this stuff as often as possible. But yeah, it has gotten me down before. Lack of sleep, lack of this, lack of that. And yeah, and it'll affect my body. But I do not sit in it for very long. I will tell you, I'm usually not sick for more than 24 hours. Anyways, but what happens is a clove of garlic, okay? Clove of garlic, a lemon, and ginger root. The real deal, okay? Get some boiling water, throw that junk in it. You want to usually peel the ginger root so that way it's exposed. The garlic, same thing. You don't have to smash it up. You can just throw in the cloves. It doesn't matter how many cloves. It doesn't matter how much of anything. I usually do a whole lemon. And again, I do dice the lemon. Like I slice up the lemon, not dice. I slice the lemon up. I don't squeeze it. I just boop, throw it in there. And same with the garlic. I peel the clove, the outer, whatever, the clove. Then I just throw the whole cloves in. Let them boil down. Same with the ginger root. I'll maybe slice it up a little bit, not much. And boom, throw it in there. Right? I do kind of peel it and throw it in there so it's exposed, and then I boil it down, and I'll boil it for a while, and you will smell it. Believe me, you'll smell it, and it's not the best smell, okay? Thank God for the lemon to give it some kind of sugary sweetness to it, but yeah, then drink it. You're like, oh, bleh, oh. That's pretty much what it tastes like. It's not a very good tasting drink. It's a tea. It's a tea. It's a natural tea. But I kid you not, like a half hour later, I'm like up and running. Seriously, it's like my immune system is just like, boom, Superman or something like that. No joke. So there, that's a natural remedy, and it works, okay? No joke, it works. Anyways, so yeah, read about things like that. If you've got body joint problem, like joint problems, it's something called HA. Read about HA, okay? That's something that will heal your joints, and that's a natural thing, okay? Read about it. It's not cheap, but it works. I've used it. It totally works.